All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So, salamat ulit sa pagdalo sa ating sessions. So, we are so happy and fortunate to have Mr. Maki Villano. Yan. So, intro for Maki. Maki is an elder millennial, a single dad to a Gen Zer and a graduate student. Wow. He recently joined an AI startup as their AI director, as their director of intelligent solutions, where he leads the development of scientific computing solutions for the biopharmaceutical industry. Wow, medyo mabibigat, ano? Biopharmaceutical. So interesting. Before that, he was a senior solution architect and the resident Google Cloud expert of a multinational consulting company. So yan. So thank you so much, Maki, for sharing your time and effort in facilitating this week's discussion. So I'll turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Salamat sa poging intro. So, kumusta kayong lahat? Ako nga si Maki at yan, welcome to week 5 dito sa ating Road to Google Developer Certification program focusing on the professional cloud architect. So I'm just going to switch over to English real quick because earlier we did notice newcomers and we were wondering if everybody's cool with speaking in Tagalog and Taglish for throughout the session. So, are we good? Everyone understands Tagalog? Nagtatagalog lahat? Do we or diretso na lang? Sige, tuloy na lang. Ayan, so dito na tayo ulit. So week 5 na guys. Kumusta na ba tayo? Kumusta na ba ang pag-aaral natin? Kunyari, mag-set kayo ng reacts para makita ko lang kung okay kayo. Kunyari, heart react kung tuloy-tuloy pa or sad face react siguro kung medyo nahirapan. Ano ba yung state natin in general?
Kamusta?
Merong icon, may react din sa
pwede tayo
ng Zoom.
mag-react, guys. Ayan, heart. Ayun, may mga
Thumbs up.
heart.
Okay.
Okay pa naman.
So hopefully, tuloy-tuloy pa naman tayo. Good. So this week is going to be yung flavor ko kung paano natin i-run ba itong session. So I switched stuff up a bit. Medyo pinalitan ko lang so I think is more appropriate. Pero it's more of the usual. Again, revisiting yung study journey natin so far, followed by exam guide review and some sample questions. And then I'm adding here some of my thoughts then siguro just to help, bigyan ko lang kayo ng tips siguro kung how to take or kind of confront certification moving forward and then next steps. So we are down to the second to the last session of the 6-week program. Now, our journey so far. Siguro sa chat na lang, dito sa mga week 1, 2, 3, meron tayong parang suggested na, diba? Tawag dito, materials to cover. Pa-type siguro ng number kung nasa ang week na kayo. Sa chat. Send to everyone. Wala. Ang inisip ko kasi mahalaga dito, nag-start tayo sa week 1 of preparing for the Professional Cloud Architect Examination. Ang recommendation ko talaga pag natapos mo itong lahat, balikan nyo lang yung ibang mga slides dun para lang magkaroon ng context. Kasi ang ginawa ng week 1, pinakita niya essentially yung i-coverage ng exam, di ba? Pero kasi depende din sa background mo kung kakastart mo pa lang, may nga nagsabi na ito yung first na certification niya, pwedeng mamawalan ka sa track ng direction kasi yung map mo na present sa'yo ng week 1, pwedeng hindi mo na nasusundan. So it's actually good to go back to yung material to kind of like put yourself, keep yourself in track, at least yung follow yung prescribed direction ni Google to guide you along the way with your studying. Of course, pwede kayo magtanong sa Facebook or sa Discord kung may nakalito. Para sa akin yun yung isa sa malaking pinaka-significant content, insightful content, yung first one on week 1, yung preparing for the professional cloud architect exam. Tapos in terms of yung architect role, ang pinaka-insightful talaga dito sa akin, para sa akin yung reliable cloud and infrastructure design and process. Now, I know iba-iba yung objectives natin for being here. And feeling ko din kasi hindi tayo lahat nasa same space eh. So gusto ko din sana maintindihan kung sino ba yung audience ko. Kayo ba? Kumusta kayo dyan? Sino ba sa inyo ang estudyante pa lang? Thumbs up. Wala. Or sino yung developer? Or siguro nalagay nyo sa chat, ano ba yung primary role nyo? IT ops ba? Mayroon bang parang BA dito? Mayroon bang product or project manager? Or mayroon ng architect na? Also may project manager. Meron na bang architect na? At kung architect, anong klaseng architect? Solution, software, infra? Okay. So yung application packaging specialist, is that tech?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
This is Arvin. Actually, sir, more on repackaging of software.
Okay. Sige, so may relevance. Ayan, so good. Yung objective nyo ba, yun, gusto ko inisip eh. So, we establish parang kung saan tayo nanggaling na ba. Ako personally, initially, nag-start ako as a career in IT operations, at least when I started working for a private company, and then development. Tapos medyo lumawak lang ng lumawak yung scope, yung coverage. So may DBA pa pala. Kasi kung mapapansin niyo yung material natin, kung babalikan ko dito, parang kinover niya lahat eh. No? May networking, may infra, may a bit of deployment, may a bit of... So yun yung gusto sanang kind of i-steer yung buong discussion natin na alam natin kung ano yung bigger picture na kung saan ba papunta. Ano ba yung si cloud architect talaga. And inisip ko naman din na kahit nasabihin natin hindi tayo architect now or we're not really planning to be a cloud architect or any form of architect in the future, at least yung holistic view nung parang technology development maging visible sa atin. Kasi kailangan natin lahat ng alignment, whether you're DBA or BA or analyst or dev. Di ba parang dapat iisa yung direction natin. And mayroon tayong big picture view nung kung ano man yung ginagawa nating technology solution, ano man yung role natin. Kaya din significant na makita natin yung lahat ng consideration in rolling up technology solution. And this actually alludes to some of the presentation I gave back in 2019 about ano ba ang architect. So may architect na nga ba? Parang hindi ko nakita na may naglagay na architect eh. Pero ano lang to, quick recap or review. And this is also more of a personal take then. Kasi coming from previous role as a solution architecture, na medyo loose term, minsan may mga companies na parang hindi rin sila in agreement kung ano bibig sabihin talaga ng solution architecture. So present ko lang yung take ko. And a very simplistic, straightforward thing. Forget about yung dictionary or some industry-specific definition. Basta sabi ko, a solution addresses a problem or a need, and architecture refers to design. And architecture, parang, kung isipin mo yung analogy niya siguro sa construction, di ba? So may architect, pero hindi siya yung electrician, hindi siya yung civil engineer. Pero alam mo na yung dinidesign niya na beyond being appealing is also functional. Na parang hindi lang siya basta nag-pull together and design. Dapat kung bahay siya o building siya, pwede siya matuluyan, di ba? Tas ligtas kayo nun. So, yun yung, I guess try kong i-stick na parang simplistic approach in defining kung ano ba yung cloud architect role. Kasi bottom line is yung PCA, yung Professional Cloud Architect exam, fit siya dun sa role ng cloud architect. Now, whether we become a cloud architects or not, it's up to us. And I think it's a natural progression siguro na parang over time as you move up to your role, lumalawak yung scope mo. Hindi lang ikaw basta DBA lang or hindi lang basta dev lang. Parang lahat kinoconsider mo na. So it helps kind of practice to build yung holistic end-to-end technology view. Meron din ba sa inyo na familiar na sa ibang clouds like AWS or Azure? Thumbs up. Anyway, okay. Ayun, ganyan lang, pinag-usapan lang namin ang weird nung certification exam sa Azure eh. na mas maraming kalokohan eh. Hindi lang siya basta multiple choice and multiple select, may mga drag and drop. Anyway, hopefully makita niyo kung ano yung parang approach ni Google in providing cloud services. Masasabi ko lang din, typically if you look at a framework or a tool, gano'n, parang yung gumawa nun, in this case, sa Google Cloud, mayroon siyang parang particular approach in addressing yung needs in cloud computing. Na pwedeng iba yung approach compared to AWS or Azure, pero maganda na makita mo yung iba't ibang perspective, yung iba't ibang viewpoints nun. Tapos maintindihan mo yung philosophy nila, and also helps kind of empower you to think about how to approach the problem. In the same sense, siguro, kunyari nasa software development ka, na parang, ewan ko, yung mga nag-aaway siguro dun sa kung anong front-end frameworks, whether it's React or Angular or ngayon Flutter or Vue, magigets mo pag pinick up mo yung particular framework, kung ano ba yung approach, ano ba yung philosophy ng nag-develop ng tool. And then it helps you also widen your view on how to address yung problems or yung needs through technology. So bottom line is, the more you know, the better it is for you. And yun din actually yung goal ko dito, na kahit na feeling nyo, you're not really looking towards para moving beyond your existing role into sort of broader architecture. At least, this is kind of building yung foundation na, yung curiosity and gaining your knowledge and familiarity and all those adjacent sort of disciplines within the tech space to also help you be a lot more effective in your current role and also prepare you for the next. Hopefully I'm making sense. May questions ba so far before I move on? Naintindihan naman ako sana. Wala man thumbs up. So, sinabi ko na walang parang de facto standard kung ano ibig sabihin ng solution architecture role. Ang pinakita ko lang dito sa may canon na figure na parang more on yung object diagram na yung inheritance ba. So, yung abstract class, di ba, in instance. Sabihin natin on an abstract sense, yung discipline of cloud architecture is a form of implementation of solution architecture, because a solution architecture is the design of a feasible technology solution to address a problem or need. So it has to be feasible. It has to be something that you can implement. It will work. It would address yung particular need, whether it's as simple as, I don't know, parang merong particular workload or gusto lang mag-cut down ng cost ng business, all the way to coming up with a novel solution for a new problem. So pwedeng kunyari mayroon ka lang na parang may maliit na tindahan siguro na tutulungan mong i-automate para maging effective sila, wala na silang paperwork. Na karamihan ng mga business solutions sa consulting experience ko, ganon. And meron din kasing stages towards yung initial automation ng mga mundane everyday things to magkakaroon ka na ng analytics and data collection pag tumataas yung maturity ng isang organization, all the way towards really automating things to the point na meron ka ng machine learning and artificial intelligence pipelines. So parang isipin mo level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Level 1 is yung a lot of yung manual stuff, tinatry mong i-automate, integrate, i-transform, mag-introduce ng digital tools and solutions. All the way to parang yung tier 5 na ang dami mo ng data, lahat automated na, ang mature na yung technology mo, tapos mayroon ka ng capability to do advanced automations enabled by machine learning and artificial intelligence. So, yun lang. In context, feeling ko lang malaking bagay na i-zero in lang natin, have the shared sort of idea or of understanding what a cloud architect is. Kasi yun essentially exam na kukunin nyo eh. So, andun yung context of having this broad view of everything beyond yung medyo domain-specific roles siguro ng karamihan sa atin. And really understanding on a high level kung ano-ano kung paano nag-work yung mga components, yung mga need the Google Cloud to help you formulate the best solution using yung Google Cloud technologies for any problem or need na, well, ma-assign sa inyo sa work nyo, sa role nyo. Kaya din, kung feeling nyo, kasi ganun ako initially din, overwhelmed ako, parang ang dami nito, okay lang. Kung feeling nyo, yung after this, parang na-realize nyo na hindi pa kayo ready, okay lang din. And ultimately, ikaw din ang makapagsabi na niya, pag comfortable ka na, ready ka na, and I think aware naman tayo na hindi siya madaling aralin lahat. Diba? Kung madali siya, hindi lahat tayo certified na agad. Pero okay lang, kung parang doable siya, and it's going to help you along the way, regardless of where you are now, regardless ng role mo ngayon. lalo na kung nasa tech ka, or in whatever capacity, talagang requirement na mag-aral ka na mag-aral eh. At saka sobrang bilis kasi magbago ng tech eh. Naalala ko nga yung, kunyari dito pagdating sa exam guide, nagbabago din siya na I will touch on later. So far so good. Before I move on to the exam guide, so medyo bilis na chika lang about yung role and what you're actually going to be certified for. And yung sana lang na parang it's still something na you have in mind and to kind of guide you on your study journey kahit na medyo iba siya sa present role mo now. But it will help regardless of whether you're taking yung parang administrative or managerial path within your technology domain or magiging hyper-focus ka sa specialization mo within your technology. In the end, all these components that comprise an overall solution, magkakabit yan. So dapat nag-uusap sila lahat, dapat nagko-coincide sila. Ayan. And okay, hopefully helpful siya. So medyo segue, diretso na sa exam guide review. Meron lang akong gustong ipakita dito sa exam guide review. Kasi meron ba nakakaalam kung nasaan yung exam guide or may idea kung ano yung exam guide talaga? Ba't siya parating nandito? Thumbs up, react, kung merong may idea. Okay, si Sir Nick. Sa mga hindi nakakaalam, kanina kasi pinag-usapan namin yung, kunwari, nag-certify ako sa machine learning engineer kahapon. Tapos wala pa siyang na-establish na parang training program. Hindi kagaya nitong professional cloud architect na pag titignan mo sa Cloud Skills Boost, ang daming preparation exam, ang daming mga sample test na si Google mismo nag-provide. Yung iba kasi, parang i-scope lang nila kung ano yung mga topics. So, kunyari dito ito yung Google Cloud Certification website. Punta ako din sa Cloud Architect. Nakita naman yung screen ko, ano? Kita naman ba? Okay. So, kung yung panahon, kung kinuha mo nung kasimula pa lang na wala pang magandang training program, wala pang Cloud Skills Boost, ito yung pinaka-guide mo. And yung ibang mga materials wala. Pero mayroon kang sample questions na magandang paglaruan, magkaroon ka ng idea. At saka itong exam guide. So ito yung exam guide na lumalabas doon sa dinidiscuss natin dito sa portion na to, exam guide review. So kung babalikan ko kunyari yung nung week 1, ayun, present ni Brian. So yun nilagay niya, week 2 study group, ito yung exam guide coverage. Ito yung sa week 3, nandito na tayo sa week 5. Itong lahat ng ito, nakamap siya dito sa exam guide. Itong mga to, ito yon. Tapos kung gusto mo maging up-to-date talaga kung ano ba yung magiging coverage ng exam, kailangan mo talagang puntahan yung website. Kasi ang napansin ko, for example, di ba nilagyan ko ng label, ito supposedly yung coverage ko, section 5, week 5. Kasi itong slide na to, binigay sa amin ni Brian from Google. Tapos yung napansin ko kasi sa kanya, meron pa siyang week 6 coverage. Tapos ito wala na. So yun yung gusto lang i-point out na nakita ko itong slide was, I think back in 2022, ano? So, inalis na nila ito sa coverage ng PCA. And I think punta na to sa DevOps. Nagbago sila ng DevOps coverage din eh. So, kung gusto niyo malaman na parang ano na ba yung coverage ng exam, gano'n, ang pinaka up-to-date talaga is yung sa website. Pupunta niyo sila. And para sa akin, isa din itong parang malaking gauge ng confidence mo about yung familiarity mo sa topics eh. At sa itong mga topics na to, for example, hindi naman ito lahat Google Cloud specifics. Yung iba, kanyan, application development and API best practices. Pwede mong refer sa experience mo na kung paano nga ba gumawa ng magandang API or ano ba considerations ko in application development. Ano ba yung mga architectural approach na modern ngayon, kagaya ng microservices, na i-consider mo when deciding a particular technology design solution for a problem or need na makita mo sa test. So, yun lang yung chika ko dyan, na yung pinapresent naman namin weekly, aligned siya. And then, kung gusto mo maging current, punta ka sa website, makita mo yung mga topics doon. And then, ngayon, alam mo na yung topics. Ano nga yung gagawin mo? Yung pinag-aaralan natin, meron naman siyang alignment. Although parang siguro hindi direct na one-to-one. Kasi maski itong mga weekly, kung mapapansin niyo yung mga material na kinover niyo sa Cloud Skill Boost, wala siyang direct alignment. For example, dito may Kubernetes and deployments. Pero yung topic na ka-assign this week is this one. Mayroong managing implementation, ensuring operational and reliability. Pero okay lang. Kumbaga parang over the end, hopefully they all mesh. Pero kung hindi, just go through and run through yung materials ulit and let yung exam guide essentially guide you in really gauging kung ano yung mga familiar stuff na sa'yo. So far, so good. So my point here is that yung discussions naman natin this week are mapped against yung exam guidelines. So we are really trying to zero in on yung stuff that would show up on the test, at least yung topics. And these things, not everything will be covered with your training. You would require some, parang Googling na din of some other things hindi familiar, lalo na siguro kung, kunwari, hindi ka dev, tapos, or may mga testing stuff na hindi ka familiar, or yung mga deployment strategy, lalo na siguro pag lumabas yung Kubernetes, tapos you haven't really heard of that yet. Pwede mo siya, ayun yung mga kailangan mo yung basahin on a higher level. Again, si architect ng building, hindi siya engineer, hindi siya electrician, pero on a higher level, familiar siya sa mga components, makes up a building. So medyo ganun din yung mindset with the cloud architect. Unless malit na company kayo, tapos ikaw yung gagawa ng lahat, typically, and ganito din, and structure yung role sa mata ni Google na si architect medyo broad view, kaya din yung exam niya malawak. Halos lahat ng Google Cloud Technology hahawakan niya. Pero mas mababaw. Hindi kagaya ng kunyari si network engineer na halos puro networking lang. Pero malalim. Parang, yun nga, mag-compute ka ng mga CIDR addresses sa utak mo kasi bawal yung scratch paper sa exam eh. Pero may ganong klaseng eksena yung exam na yung iba yung focus. Sa cloud developer, iba din yung focus niya. Na parang iba't ibang approach in, I guess, designing a cloud native application. Pati yung building, yung pipeline and deploying that. Kaya architect medyo high level. Kaya din dun sa initial offline discussion kanina na parang may iba sa inyo na ito yung magiging first exam, okay pa din. Kasi I guess yung difference nga niya between associate cloud engineer and professional cloud architect is i-cover mo din lahat, mas wala lang business context yung questions ng ACE. So pwedeng kinuha mo itong training na to, PCA, pero ACA yung paghahandaan mo muna para lang din masanay ka, makita mo yung feel ng exam, yung format niya. Pwedeng ganun yung maging path nyo. So, let's go a bit deeper on yung ibang yung mga items dito sa study group. Unless may questions kaya. Naintindihan naman ba? Does it make sense? I hope I'm not making anyone any more nervous than they should be.
Yan. Actually, na-appreciate ko yung inputs ni Maki about comparing yung coverage ng exam. So it's super cool. Yan. Yan. Pero nga natin eh. Actually, itong materials, feeling ko may napapansin din namin medyo may dated na siya. Kaya pero naman, ang goal rin natin dito is parang point of discussion. O kaya highlights ng mga gusto natin i-discuss. But of course, yung exam guide talaga ng sa official dun sa website, yun talaga yung up to date at dun yun ang magandang basihan. Yan. And hopefully, we also encourage everyone to join in the discussion. Sana hindi rin to one way na okay, nagre-represent kami. Pero nakakatuwa naman yung in the past sessions may mga questions na lumalabas and all of that. Yeah. Sige.
It's all understandable din naman kung tipong medyo yung hindi mo alam kung ano tatanungin mo. Kasi ako personally din, yung nga sinabi ko na nung nag-start dun sa program ko, like, it was 5 years ago. Parang ang daming, kasi yung approach nga ng development medyo iba. Yung parang medyo bago pa lang din, at least yung cloud para sa akin. So, kung feeling nyo, kailangan nyo ng time to kind of percolate, to really think and for things to click, that's okay. Basta masasabi ko lang din na we're here to support. Ako personally, kaya din ako nag-volunteer sa ganito kasi mas gusto ko na may mga ka-work ako na nag-gets nila yung tech o yung paradigm. Kasi ang hirap mag-work sa tech, lalo na, ewan ko kung experience yun, na parang lahat ng kasama nyo hindi on board or medyo parang 5-10 years behind in their understanding of tech. Mahirap eh. And talagang advantageous sa atin sa lahat. So kung ano mga role natin na maging current tayo. So talaga ding parang kung pwedeng magturo. And besides, libre naman matuto eh. Yung isang gusto kong mangyari, lahat tayo mas may angat yung kaalaman natin talaga in general across the board, just beyond tech. 'Di ba? Kung lahat ng Pilipino nag-iisip, isipin mo, ang ganda siguro ng Pilipinas. So, sige. Before I get too political, balik na muna dito ulit. So yun nga, ito yung mga study group guides, pinakita ko lang din na it does update. Kasi may mga certain things din na parang would stem from things na would be based on yung stuff na is expected of you to be familiar with. Like say, based from your past experiences. If you remember then, yan, di ba? Itong conversation natin, mga highlights lang to. Medyo subjective highlights na inisip ko na gusto ko na i-bring up. Kasi syempre, hindi ko na i-discuss ko ano yung mga na-discuss sa mga videos na. Pero maski yung mga videos din na pinanood niya, pati yung mga workshops, hindi rin siya ganun ka-comprehensive. But it gives you the idea. And it would also give you din yung parang yung idea na ano pa nga ba yung kailangan ko alamin or ano pa ba yung familiar sa akin. And definitely, para sa akin, going through din yung mga materials na yun, it helped me kind of refine din siguro yung mga approaches ko in problem solving. Kasi ang daming, syempre, hindi ko alam na andun pala sa content. So, yun, I really feel na kahit nasabihin natin in the end of the day, you never really got to certify. I'm pretty sure na marami sa inyo may pick up na maraming mga bagay dito sa content natin. Pero of course, syempre, gusto namin pa-certify kayo. So, yan, sabi ko na authoritative yung web exam guide sa website. Practice siyang up to date. So kunwari, para sinabi niyo hindi pa kayo ready, tapos para mag-attempt kayo later in the year, pabalikan niyo na lang din kasi baka may nabago, may nadagdag. Ang pinaka-practice ko dito, personally, kunyari, titignan ko itong mga guides na to. Tapos tatry kong ikwento sa sarili ko. Una, kung ano ba yung pagkakaintindi ko. Kunyari, ano ba yung mga kailangan kong i-consider para sa application development or API best practices. For example, yung API best practices, medyo ano na siya, common na siya lalo sa dev. So mga nagsabi sa web dev, di ba? Ano ba yung mga rules ng RESTful API na parang dapat yung mga endpoints mo is named on resources as opposed to methods, di ba? So yung mga ganung bagay na medyo universal naman sa application development. Kailangan maging familiar lang din tayo. Na over time din, as we go with our work, para mapipick up natin. Ito mga testing frameworks. Ano ba yung mga testing frameworks na meron tayo? Or ano ba yung difference between yung load, unit integration, smoke tests? Again, mga high-level stuff. Pero kasi kunyari, yung papasok yung question na parang meron kayong gusto i-perform na particular form of test, tapos sinabi niya na it's just an integration test, pero hindi ka alam kung ano nangyayari doon. Pwedeng hindi ka na mag-guide kung ano yung tamang sagot sa mga options. At least yung context ba, ng kung paano ba nag-work yung supposedly yung isang technology organization, at saka yung mga steps along the way in building, piecing together a technology solution. Ayun yung high-level familiarity na required. And then, once mayroon ka ng high-level requirement, ilagay mo doon sa context ng Google Cloud. So say for example, testing. Meron kang dineploy na containerized application na custom na binild mo. So gusto mo siyang i-test pero wala kang visibility kung ano nangyayari sa workload. Anong gagawin mo? Tapos ma-realize mo na parang, si Google Cloud pala, yung built-in na parang i-stream niya lahat ng mga standard output logs mo sa application mo, makukuha na ni cloud logging. So pwede mo tignan si Google Cloud logging para dun sa mga output. So may mga ganun parang situational na questions sa exam and also in real life. Na pag when working on Google Cloud technologies na yung magiging parang approach mo to say, meet a certain objective, such as really figuring out how your containers workloads operate within the cloud environment, within Google Cloud, for example. And ang kinaganda din actually ni Google Cloud is halos lahat ng mga stuff na kailangan mong isipin sa pag-operationalize or pag-develop, parang pinapasimple na niya eh. Kaya para sa akin, favorite ko pa din si Google Cloud kaysa sa ibang mga cloud vendors. In terms of yung simplicity, kung paano siya gamitin, yung network layout for one. Sa kanila lang parang mayroong local area network yung trato mo sa lahat ng workloads mo, kahit na global yung span ng mga machines and VMs mo. Malaking bagay yan kasi ibang mga cloud provider hanggang regional lang eh. Tapos marami ka pang kailangan i-set up para ma-achieve yun eh. So again, yung kwento nito, based on yung familiarity, kung wala ka masyadong yung maraming questions about say deployment stems and may medyo shared common across all sort of technology deployments, So kung meron kang inherent knowledge, familiarity about application development, API, and testing frameworks, you can still bring that in. And you can capitalize on your knowledge when trying to read through the questions and understand them. Ang kailangan mo nilang i-supplement doon is to familiarize ano na ba yung mga Google Cloud technologies na bagay din sa mga certain scenarios. So case in point, as an example, is this one, choosing a cloud deployment platform for a particular workload. Diba? Quick and easy, and again, this is really, para sa akin, very elegant, na parang if I'm gonna map out yung runtime on some other cloud providers, parang ang dami kong branching. Pero kunya kay Google Cloud, dahil simple siya, you're narrowed down to these certain options. Kunya parang kailangan mo ng super customizability on down to the hardware level, talagang compute engine, VM na. Although I guess you can stretch this one and say na parang kung meron kang VMware workload, meron palang VMware engine na si Google Cloud. So sa mga tao na who works on VMware or would be helping, may project na magmamigrate from VMware to Google Cloud, may VMware engine pala. Hindi lang kasama sa flowchart na to. Pero you get the drift. So may, kung gusto mo talagang super hardcore ka na lahat, ikaw magko-configure. Kasi pwede ka rin mag-deploy ng Kubernetes sa compute engine eh. Pero kung ayaw mong pahirapan sarili mo, tapos gusto mo ng Kubernetes cluster, doon ka sa Kubernetes engine. Nababalikan ko din later kung ano ba yung philosophy din, kung yung decision making, yung principle natin, kung anong pipiliin mo, given na parang marami kang option to implement a certain thing. For example, if you look at yung containerized workloads, marami kang option. Pwedeng Cloud Run, Kubernetes, pwedeng Compute Engine. Ang alam ko, pero ano yung pipiliin mo, di ba? Ang principle para sa akin is kung ano yung pinakamadali, kung ano yung pinakasimple. Kumbaga parang kung hindi naman required, kunyari sinabi, run a containerized workload, pero hindi naman sinabi na parang, dapat ano siya, ikaw nagmamanage yung distribution niya. Or ikaw nagmamanage kung ano yung type ng machine kung saan siya nag-run. Pati yung pag-scale niya. Kung wala siya sinabing gano'n, basta sinabi yung container, cloud run ka na lang, kasi yun yung pinakasimple. And gano'n din sa buhay, I guess. Alam mo, kung wala ka ng mga additional requirements, you just go with the simplest option. So far, so good. Alam ng mga tao kung ano yung containers and alam ba ng mga tao kung ano yung Kubernetes? Meron bang may problema kung ano yung container? Yun na lang. Gets natin kung ano yung container, ha? O sige, ako magtatanong, ano yung container? may raffle entry yung sasagot. Sige. Yung raffle entry na pang end of, walang gusto sumagot. Okay, I'm not gonna hold anyone off. Kung later on din, meron kayong questions, pwede naman kayong mag-direct message sa Discord kung medyo nahiya kayo na medyo maraming venue. Basta ang pinakamahalaga, linawin kung may tanong kayo, tanong nyo lang. And kung mayroong naguguluhan, linawin lang natin. So yun lang. So medyo mabilis lang siya natin dadaanan lahat. Pero pang isang example, in case in point about understanding yung dun sa operation, yung requirements for deployment and how you frame that within yung Google Cloud technologies, this is one way. And you can also kind of Google search a bunch of other flow charts. Malamang nakita nyo din with Sir Mil and Aaron before, di ba, about yung selections of network and storage na mayroon namang guide. And definitely, kung napanulunan nyo yung libro ni Priyanka Vergarjan, pinaraffle ni Sir Mil, ang daming mga guides din doon. So moving on yung 5.2, interacting with Google Cloud programmatically. Itong part na to, ano bang feeling ko dito? Kasi parang, syempre, ito ang dami itong coverage, ito sobrang, ito lang. Hopefully, you've played around with Google Cloud Shell and yung Google Cloud SDK, yung G Cloud, GS Util, hindi yung mga command line stuff, di ba? Kasi ginagawa niyo yung mga labs eh. Ginagawa niyo yung labs gawin niyo yung labs. And yun pa lang, yung exercise pa lang, ang gusto ko din sana gawin nyo is wag mag-copy-paste nung mga commands. As in, i-type nyo na lang. At least yung muscle memory nyo, magkakaroon kayo ng familiarity kung paano ba naka-formulate yung mga G-Cloud commands, yung mga calls ito sa shell. Malayang bagay para pagdating sa recollection nyo during the test or pretty much on how you work with yung Google Cloud on your work, mas ma-appreciate nyo siya, mas matatandaan nyo sila. Itong item about yung cloud emulators, hindi ko rin masyadong tinatch. I don't really remember anyone really asking about it. Basta they're there. Cloud Bigtable. Ano ba si Cloud Big Table? It's yung columnar data storage for ingestion. Hopefully, it's like high throughput, right? Table for preempting any sort of data workflow or big data workflow, or eventually to feed off of any sort of ML or AI pipelines down the line. Yun yung parang focus niya. So it's non-relational. It's not really something you use for transactions. Kung meron kang e-commerce store, ganun, hindi siya SQL. It's really designed for high throughput. And yung emulators such as Bigtable and Data Store, all of these things, including App Engine, you can emulate them on your local machine para lang bukod sa hindi ka mabibill ni Google Cloud pag pinaglalaroan mo sila, pwede mo siyang gawin offline. I think itong stuff lang na to na parang more on developer focused. Andyan siya for you to be familiar with. Wala na kabisado nitong lahat. Ako personally, hindi ko kabisado lahat ng G Cloud stuff. And ang daming mga commands din kasi na parang medyo may tie sa legacy product. For example, lahat ng, ito naalala ko lang kasi kaka-example lang kahapon yung lahat ng parang AI-related na services ni Google Cloud naka-package under Vertex AI. Pero pagdating sa command line, may mga legacy na mga methods pa na referencing resources as AI or AI platform or ML engine. Kasi dun siya nanggaling. That said, yung G Cloud CLI, sabi ko nga, wala nakakabisado niyan na thoroughly lahat, ang dami niyan. Pero meron siyang pattern na ito pwede niyong isipin na parang, so G Cloud, balikan ko lang. So itong si G Cloud natin, siya yung mga commands on how you will manage or interact with yung components with, yung Google Cloud services. So halos lahat ng mga kunyari ginagawa niyo yung mga work niyo, gawa kayo ng VM or gawa kayo ng para cloud source repository dun sa cloud console, di ba? Point and click interface. Lahat may equivalent na G Cloud command. So behind the scenes, yung interface ni cloud console na in-interact nyo, yung graphical user interface, yung website, at saka si G Cloud na command line, parang nag-communicate sila in the backend to the same sort of resource API na nagmamanage ng cloud resources for you. So G Cloud yung pinakamalaki. Si GS Util is specific to clouds, Google storage. And kanya mag-upload, mag-copy, basta yung content ng cloud storage, yun yung GS Util. So yung scope ni G Cloud, lahat ng resources pwede manage. Si GS Util, para lang mag-interact ka with Google storage. And of course, si BQ, para lang makapag-interact ka with BigQuery. Yun lang yung gusto kong i-highlight dito sa tatlo. Again, specific kay BigQuery, yung BigQuery for interacting with it. Pero kung gusto mong mag-instantiate na bagong BigQuery database, gagawin mo siya sa G-Cloud command. Kung napansin nyo din, ang daming mga relevant stuff din about scripting na lalabas, kagaya ng kubectl command for interacting with Kubernetes. Na I guess once in a while will show up, but I guess it's familiar lang kayo na parang kung gusto niyo manage yung Google Cloud Resources, G Cloud. For all other things, I'm just specific. GSUT for Google Storage, BK for BigQuery. For things na a bit more specific to say automating, you got like a bunch of yung shell, standard Linux commands, and kubectl for Kubernetes. Tapos si G Cloud, hindi rin siya ganun ka hirap hulaan kung ano ba yung ginagawa ng command. Kanya may lumabas sa exam na parang something. Kagaya ng example na ito sa baba, G Cloud compute instances create example instance -1 --zone. US Central 1-A. So, yung example sa baba, gagawa ka ng VM. Ang pangalan ng VM, example, -1, instance-1. Saan siya nakalagay? Sa US Central 1-A. So, yun lang siya. Na parang, generally, if you're managing any Google Cloud resource, at yung pattern, merong release level na optional. In the sense na pag may mga bagong mga product, typically may mga alpha or beta releases sila. Nilagay ko lang siya dyan kasi pwede mo makita yun sa command line format, pero for the most part, hindi siya ganun ka-significant. So, G-Cloud, ang component, ano yung component na parang kakalikutan mo? Ganyan, compute. Entity, gagawa ka ng bagong instance ng compute, gagawa ng bagong VM. And operation create. So, nag-gets nyo? G-Cloud, noun, verb, and then, tawag dito yung mga parameters na nila. And halos lahat sila ganun. So kunyari, kung gagawa ka ng Kubernetes cluster, imbes na G-Cloud compute, sabihin mo G-Cloud container. And for other things na medyo pag hindi ka naman parang huhulihin na parang ano yung command line for particular resource, hindi naman sila ganun kasadista, no? So, again, for the most part, pag nagets mo tong pattern na to, magkakaroon ka ng idea kung ano yung ginagawa ng command. Tapos, ano ka na, magagaidan ka na. No? Yung ibang mga considerations, I guess, with working with yung provisioning and resources is to understand kung ano ba yung mga regional stuff, ano yung mga zonal, meaning, kunyari, for example, yung virtual machines, yung mga disks, kailangan mo siyang iset sa zone kasi zone na siya mag-exist. Pero kunyari may mga managed services, pwede mo siyang gawing redundant for an entire region. Of course, yung mga serverless, pwede sila maging global. Yung mga load balancer, pwedeng single IP tapos global endpoints na lahat. So, pag may mga global stuff, hindi mo kaya specify kung saan zone sila ilalagay kasi global na nga eh. Pero pag may regional, imbes na yung zone, ilalagay mo kung saan region mo sila i-deploy. And yun, hopefully, na-touch previously sa ibang mga topics about yung iba't ibang tawag dito, mga types of services that you can avail from Google Cloud. Pero bottom line is, kahit na may mga certain command line stuff na lalabas or certain code stuff, hindi sila ganun lalo na sa cloud architect, na parang yung hindi ka tatanungin about yung specifics. And for the most part, just to get yung general idea, you're good to go. So, walang kakabisaduhin. And maski ako, wala akong Sino ba nakakabisado nito? Sobrang impressed ako dyan. So far, so good dun sa section 5 na at least yung mga topics. This one, again, deals with much of yung parang shared knowledge across yung industry in the context of Google Cloud. Ito medyo mabilis lang kasi parang hindi ko nga alam kung bakit siya nakahiwalay eh. But you know na you have these tools at your disposal then to fit in how you work, whether you work programmatically. I'm actually thinking na dapat as a later na lang yung ibang mga IIC tools. If no questions, yeah, moving on to section 6, ensuring solution and operations reliability. So ito yung inisip ko din na question initially na I think kung definitely ako nung galing sa dev, lalo na kung paano tayo mag-operate before na parang as a developer may requirements or may features, i-develop mo lang. Tapos pagkatapos hindi mo naisipin, papasa mo na kay IT. Tapos sila na magsusupport, mag-update. Wala nang hindi mo na poproblemahin. Parang iba yung domain ni IT operations kay developer eh. Pagdating kasi professional cloud architect or si architect or si solution architect in general, lahat yan i-consider mo as part of the design na parang imbis na parang isipin mo lang, sige, paano ko ba implement yung solution na to? Ano yung kailangan niya requirements, syempre paano siya magiging online, ano yung mga supported networking interfaces na kailangan mong i-deploy as part of the solution. Up to the point na parang paano mo siya operate, paano mo i-ensure na parang yung solution na dinesign mo magpa-persist. Kasi bottom line is, meron kang need or meron kang business problem. Diba? Kunyari, si business, kailangan niya ng accounting solution, gano'n. The moment na yung accounting solution na yun, pumalpak, wala na silang magamit. Diba? So, babalik yung problema. Kaya din, yung isa sa mga mindset ngayon na, I guess, different dun sa earlier days na parang yung software is package na parang i-compile mo, i-deploy mo, wala ka ng pakialam. Ngayon, yung isipin mo, halos lahat na ng technology solutions natin ay services na talaga na kailangan mo din i-consider, especially on an architectural viewpoint, kung paano mo i-guarantee yung availability, yung persistence sa solution niya. Kasi nga, persistent din yung need. Meron bang questions so far? I'm just touching back on yung concepts about being an architect earlier. So, kunwari, may mga deploy na parang ano-ano yung mga aspects or technologies ni Google Cloud that would support yung monitoring, logging, profiling, and alerting solutions. Siyempre, deployment and release management, papasok sa yung mga cloud build, for example. Kasi pwedeng yung end-to-end na CI/CD. If I say CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, na parang magko-code ka lang, eventually you would funnel through yung changes up to yung endpoint na available to your end users, from packaging to versioning to releasing to deployment. Meron mga ganong solutions din si Google. Again, hindi mo kailangan itong malaman in detail at yung mga more specialized topics, I think, na mapupunta sa DevOps, professional DevOps exam. Pero on high level, parang, yes, I'm aware na meron tayong operation suite, yung dating stack driver. So baka nakita niyo pa sa ibang mga video na sinasabi na reference to stack driver monitoring. Yun yung dating pangalan ng operations suite na ngayon ni Google Cloud. Na essentially yung collection of tools that allows you to operate any sort of solution you roll out in Google Cloud. Yung all other things ito, yung medyo relevant na sa DevOps, but on a high level, na parang, how do I actually measure yung performance ng solution ko? And then you'll come up with yung terms such as yung SLI and SLO and SLA, and yung service level agreement, service level objectives, service level indicators, for example, na hindi rin shared sa lahat ng companies. Alam ko yung depende sa mga companies na consult ko, may iba-iba silang SLA. Pero kung dito sa aspect ni Google Cloud, meron silang parang prescribed na meaning dun sa mga terms na yun. Indicator, SLI is essentially an indicator. Ano ba yung parang susukatin mo to para masabi mo kung ano yung performance ng isang solution. Indicators pwedeng number of good requests. Kunyari meron kang web service, meron kang web API, for example. So paano mo ma-measure yung quality ng service niya? Pwede mong tignan as yung number of success 200 responses over time. So kunyari, lahat ng mga systems natin inherently unreliable. Maski itong PC, maski yung phone mo, once in a while, kailangan mo silang i-restart. Diba? So yun yung isa sa mga kailangan mo isipin na kahit na gano'n ka perfect mo iniisip lahat yan, parang we live in a sort of quantum mechanical universe na things are uncertain. Kaya din, may mga redundancy. So yun yung mga quality measures na in-incorporate mo. You put hindi lang isang web server, nilagay ka ng redundant servers behind load balancer, for example, para lang kung may pumalya na isa, mag-guarantee mo yung availability. So those are certain indicators like yung responses, yung availability that comprises your service level indicator. And then, based off your indicator, whether it's your responses or uptime, magsiset ka ng objective. Ano ba yung objective na useful? Na ito din yung interesting kasi parang inisip ng maraming tao na parang 100% or 99.9%. Parang they just inisip nila maganda na pag always available isang bagay eh. Pero, ano implication nun? Kasi kada galaw mo na system, kada rollout mo, magkakaroon ka ng downtime. Kung hindi mo siya, kung gusto mo i-guarantee na pati siyang app, mababawasan ka ng time, ng opportunity na i-update yung service. Or, magkakaroon ka ng mababawasan ka ng opportunity to address yung mga uncertain scenarios. Yung nga, things can go wrong and they will. Na parang, for example, mayroon kang solution na sabi mo, available to, parate. Pero, biglang yung internet service provider mo nagka-problem. So, naging unavailable na siya. So, hindi mo na agad na-meet yung objective mo. It's really yung art of designing a solution and accounting for yung unreliability. Yun yung parang, I guess, art and science ng quality measures natin. And hindi ideal na parati kang 100% reliable kasi kailangan mo yung mag-update. Tapos for the grand scheme of things, kunyari, meron kang parang solution na ginagamit ng mga tao na nag-opisina lang. Tapos during office hours lang. Sabihin natin pumasok sa 6 a.m. tapos uwi sila 6 p.m. So essentially 12 hours lang. Tapos 5 days a week. So pwede mong ibaba yung availability measure mo na isakto mo lang dun sa kung kailan sila available. Tapos pag wala sila, pwede kang gumawa ng kahit na ano. Wala kang parang commitment or wala kang mag-breach na commitment. Kasi kung maging unavailable siya in the middle of the night, wala rin magreklamo kasi wala sila eh. So indicator, objective, set mo kung ano yung reasonable objective, typically defined din ni BA, typically defined din ng users, kung ano yung availability na need nila. Tapos doon mo isa-set yung agreement, yung SLA. Na, ito, commitment mo na talaga, na parang pag pumalya ka doon sa agreement na sinet mo, mayroon kang penalty. Kasi, yun yung parang ginaguarantee mo sa mga users mo na mga service level na mag-meet mo eh. So on a high level, I'm not saying na parang you have to go deep, pero pwede rin dun sa mga nag-IT ops na o yung mga nag-SRE na, kung meron kang parang high level familiarity, apply that context again to kung paano mo siya implement using Google Cloud technologies. So, which leads me to yung Google Cloud Operations Suite, for example, monitoring. Lahat ng resources, maski mga resources outside of Google Cloud, maski mga on-premise mo din, pwede mong ikabit sa Google Cloud monitoring. So kunyari, meron kang on-premise machine na ginagamit mo to provide a particular service, pwede ka rin mag-install ng monitoring daemon dun eh. Tapos isubmit mo. Kasi ang ginaganda sa cloud monitoring, pwedeng isa sa isang monitor ka nilang titingin, isang chart lang, makikita mo sa lahat ng relevant resources sa operations mo, andun na. Kaysa ang dami mong titignan na iba-iba. Tapos syempre, hindi rin trabaho yung tumunga ka lang sa monitor parate, di ba? So pwede kang mag-set ng alerts, kunyari meron kang certain threshold na, kunyari meron kang isang service na binabantayan, kunyari e-commerce, ganun, or magkakaroon ng sale, ano ba, or game, for example, na biglang naging viral, gano'n. Tapos yung service mo gusto mong bantayan kasi kunyari pag yung utilization ng CPU mo lumagpas ng 80%, alam mong tutupakin na yung yung service mo. So kailangan mo na mag-scale up. Tapos kung hindi mo pa rin siya na-meet, pwede mong i-alert yung mga ops people para pwede sila mag-manual intervention. So, hindi trabaho talaga yung tumunga sa monitor, hindi kagaya sa mga hacker films na parang may titignan lang sila na monitor doon. Pero alam mo na, doon yung monitoring. Typically, pag forensics na, pag may kang gustong balikan, kunyari may nag-crash or something, through yung monitoring and logging, which is yung next, and error reporting, pwede mo ma-recreate or ma-understand kung ano ba yung nangyari dun sa service mo at saka maayos sila. So these are yung some of the tools na is available in Google Cloud for your disposal. On a high level, you just really understand what their features are. Kahit na parang yung general na overview lang ng mga topics na to, okay na. Pero alam ko naman na diniscuss nila in some depth din sa mga modules natin. So I alluded to this, logging and error reporting. With ang daming logs. May logs na may generate ni system mismo, ni Google Cloud na parang wala kang kinalaman. For example, tuwing may administrative stuff ka na ginawa, gumawa ka ng VM or instantiate ka or nagpatay ka, may kita mo siya doon. Maski mga access log, may kita mo din. So whether it's from the point of view ng performance or operations or even security, maraming logging options na pwede. Whether it's system generated or something na yung application mo mismo yung gumawa. Kasi meron kang mga specific na mga states sa application na kailangan bantayan. For example, ano ba? mga application na standard. Kaya may certain parameters sa application na na hindi mo ma-measure based on yung signals ng machine. For example, may certain threshold na parang number of users logging in at a certain point of time. Pwedeng preemptive siya on a potential failure on the system later on. Pwede mo na siyang ilog, tapos pwede ka na rin mag-setup ng alerts doon. And definitely yung error reporting, na parang yun na yung last recourse mo eh. Kung may mga bagay, may mga operational incidents ka na hindi mo makapture preemptively. Kasi ang goal mo sa alerting and monitoring, syempre as much as possible, dapat gumagana yung service mo, di ba? So pwede kang mag-set ng mga alerts and tracking doon. Para kung nararamdaman mo na may mangyayaring masama, maunahan mo na, maagapan mo na agad. Pero pag tipong hindi mo na naagapan, anda naman si error reporting, pag pwede mong balikan kung ano ba yung nangyari. So ito yung mga operational staff na feeling ko, kunyari kung lalo na kung nakafocus ka sa dev na hindi mo masyadong iniisip, pero pag nakafocus ka sa solution, architecture, so isipin mo na siya. Magiging part na siya ng design. Ngayon, application performance management na medyo mix of operations and dev. So kung ikaw IT ops, malamang hanggang monitoring and logging and error reporting yung tinitingnan mo. Kasi ito, ano na to eh, pag tipong meron kang mga gustong i-debug live or maski siguro on a separate environment. For example, merong issue, tapos hindi mo talaga alam kung ano nangyari. Pwedeng yung buong setup mo, gawa ka ng bagong Google Cloud project, replicate mo sila doon, tapos doon mo sila pag-aralan. So may mga tools din sa Google Cloud, like yung debugger, na live debugging sa maraming managed services na pwede mong incorporate para isipin mo, natatrace mo yung code mo, yung application mo from within Google Cloud. Na mahirap gawin, lalo na kung naka-containerize sila, lalo na kung orchestrated ka pa through either Kubernetes or kung ano man yung mga workflow orchestration na meron sa Google Cloud. Through Cloud Debugger, pwede mo siyang gawin. And hindi ko alam kung familiar kayo doon, na kung parang gano'n ka imposible kasi pag nag-containerize ka, parang may isolation ka na nilalagay sa application mo eh. So kumbaga, pag dineploy mo siya, parang ang black box na niya. Ganun din. Although may mga traceability and visibility din na pwede kay Kubernetes, pero ito sa lahat, across the board, whether it's yung containerized workloads or whether it's through yung PaaS solutions like yung App Engine, pwedeng sa isang interface mo na lang sila i-debug. Siyempre, trace. performance bottlenecks in production. Binasa ko lang, sorry. Pero at least malalaman mo kung meron kang yung microservice architecture na essentially yung isang application mo broken down into disparate systems na nag-usap through RESTful interfaces, for example. At least pwede mong i-trace kung paano ba yung mga communication across services for a particular workflow. Tapos pwede mong malaman kung saan nga ba siya nag-stall. Lalo na siguro, kunyari, meron kang, sabihin natin e-commerce site na iba-iba yung mga services. Meron kumukuha ng orders, may kumukuha ng payment, may kumukuha ng inventory, may kumukuha ng user. Tapos biglang may nag-roll out somehow. O biglang, o maski wala nag-roll out. Parang usually, kasi pag may e-commerce ka, hindi ikaw yung gumagamit ng payment eh. Or meron kang dependent services. For example, meron kang parang SendGrid para mag-send ng mga email notifications. Biglang na-realize mo na parang one day, wala kang ginagawa sa system mo, tapos may bumagal o biglang nagta-time out yung isang service ko. Pwede mong tignan sa CloudTrace yung flow niya kung saan ba yung nagbago. Kagaya nung sasabi ko initially na lalo na pag naging complex na yung solution mo, ang dami ng mga moving parts. Minsan ang hirap ng alamin kung nasaan ba yung problema. Teka lang, may tao sa pinto. 1 second.
Ayan. Ayan, guys. May mga questions ba? Yan. Ayun na, nakita ko nag-alaga si Sergeant.
Yan. Tapos may mga plug-in din. So, sinagot na ni Aaron. So, pwede, kung tutusin ko meron kang medyo, I guess yung level of integration ng esoteric alerting mechanism mo, for the most part, meron kang pwedeng i-add na pwede mag-cater sa'yo. Ang feeling ko nga, maski yung mga built-in, pwede na eh. Maski yung mga built-in na mga services, pwede ka nang i-text eh. Depende nga dun sa level of alerting na gusto mo. Siyempre, dapat mindful din ikaw doon kasi ayaw mo naman na parang ina-alert ka ng ina-alert parate sa mga mabababaw na errors. Kung hindi, mawalan ng kwenta yung alerting mo. Parang papatayin lang siya ng support. So, basta may option ka. Kung ano man yung meron kayo o maski sa Slack, pwede eh. Kung ginagamit nyo siya as messaging internally. So yun lang yung mabilis na chika ko dun sa coverage nitong ating study group na sa totoo lang, Brian, hindi ko maintindihan yung content ng slide na pinaging sa akin.
Okay lang yan. Actually, mas natuwa ako sa approach mo na point out mo yung na mas na tignan yung study guide for the coverage. Ayan. Feeling ko dated na kasi to. So feeling tinitignan ko yung materials ginagamit to ng materials like 3 years ago, parang pre-pandemic pa. Pero of course, nag-evolve din yung exams. Yan.
So siguro para lang maintindihan ng mga tao ano tinutukoy ko, mayroon kasi siyang binigay na ganito na parang yung mga command line na how to create stuff. Naisip ko, kung ako gagawa nito, i-google ko to eh. Hindi ko siya kabisaduhin eh.
Pero pero ibibigay ko pa rin itong slides to the team, to the group as is para masilip nyo rin at ma-re-evaluate din nyo yung materials. Ayan. But but we're doing this parang yung parang tinatawag na office hours for as an opportunity for everyone to parang discuss and ask questions. Balik tayo, may isang slide dito about sa trace. Dati nalito ako sa trace, parang pag sinabi mo kasi trace, pag developer ka, parang may tina-trace akong code. 'Di ba? Para ka nagde-debug. Yung wording ng trace, parang for me, pag may developer ka, parang iba yung perspective mo eh. Pero actually, sa trace, ang gusto kong ma-emphasize dito yung it's actually pag sinabing trace, cloud trace, ang hinahanap mo is latency. Parang yung latency is yung time yung kunwari, may request. Yung time na nag-request ka, tapos time nung bumalik na yung response, yung time sa pagitan nun, yun yung latency. So, yun kaya yung mga cloud trace para siyang timeline, yung para siyang overtime. Tapos ito yung mga request para may mga ganun siyang kapag front-end developer ka, 'di ba? Parang tinignan mo yung developer tools, 'di ba? May network graph, mga latency graph 'yan eh. So pag sinabing cloud trace, latency ang dinedebug mo. Yan. Kaya iba yung debugger, yung pero yung debugger yata i-deprecate na, papatayin na yata yung cloud debugger eh. Pero parang huling tingin ko.
Interesting. Kasi useful siya eh. Kaya baka dapat may papalitan siya ng iba.
Baka. Pero maganda pa rin na alam yon no? Nung nag-e-exam ako, so sabi ko, uy, bakit parang papatayin na to si cloud debugger. Tapos, sige, pero aralin ko pa rin siya. Yan, questions from the group. Questions. Yan. Siguro announcements muna. Singit habang naghihintay ng questions. Announcement, next week wala tayong session kasi Holy Week. So natin. Observe muna natin Holy Week, magbakasyon muna. Tapos yung last session natin after Holy Week sa 15th. Yan. May nagbigay din siguro i-relate ko lang, may a few points ako na gustong idagdag kay Maki doon sa kasi 'di ba dinaanan natin yung pinakita ni Maki yung exam guide, yung parang ang daming bullet points, yung parang outline, mega outline. So kanina pre-discussion bago nung may yung mga pre-chikahan meeting natin. Baka yung nabanggit din ni Maki na baka maganda rin tong question na am I ready? Am I ready? You can measure yourself against this guide. 'Di ba? Yung parang go through it. Tapos sige nga, may sasabihin ba ako kada bullet point? Kaya ko ba siyang i-explain? May naaalala ba ako? Pag majority diyan, parang may pwede kang sabihin, may para kang pwedeng i-explain, then baka baka tataas na yung confidence mo. Pero pag hindi pa ganun ka parang uy, teka, ano ba to? Ano ba to? Baka hindi ka ready. Pero pag marami diyan or lahat diyan na kaya mong parang uy, gets ko anong ibig sabihin nito. Ito yung topic na to. At parang lahat ng bullet points na yan, baka ready ka na. Kasi baka that's one parang heuristic or guide for yourself. Am I ready? Am I pag pampatas ng confidence kapag lahat ng bullet points na ay ito yung pag sinabing ganitong itong phrase na to, ito yung naalala ko yung topic na yan, pwede kong i-recite or pwede ko i-share sa friend. Yan. Yung isa is another point, ito parang assimilation na to nung discussion from Maki. So, be aware that meron kasing may maganda nga nag-focus si Maki about architecture, 'di ba? Kasi nga may questions about siguro tanungin niyo yung question, parang is this question about general architecture concept or GCP specific concept? Meron kasing kasi architecture exam siya. Pwede siyang non GCP, non Google Cloud ang tinatanong sa iyo eh. It's more on an architecture concept or architecture topic. Parang doesn't matter kung yung GCP siya or not. Kasi pwede naman kasi hindi GCP exam to. Parang benta ng mga Google Cloud products. Hindi. May may topic diyan na pwede gano'n na okay, generic architecture ang tinatanong. Ayan. Another good point na pick up ko kay Maki, parang and parang ina-advocate din ng lahat na learn not just to pass the exam, learn to become ginagawa natin to become great practitioner. 'Yon. Parang yun yung mas may value rin talaga. Of course, kapag great practitioner ka and you can pass the exam, that's super awesome. But of course, pag magiging great implementer and practitioner tayo, feeling ko yun yung talagang super valuable sa career. Yan. other things. Sa quick labs, more points. Understand, may binanggit si ano ni si Maki about wag mong i-copy and paste, 'di ba?
Oh.
Yung sa quick labs. Idadagdag ko doon siguro is syempre nagdo-notes ako sa understand each command. Para saan ba? Bakit ba ginawa tong command na to? Ano bang ginagawa niya talaga? Parang ma-internalize mo. Sige, kasi minsan kasi 'di ba? Oy, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And then okay, finish na ako. Pero in retrospect, do I really parang appreciate the steps provided? Yan. Ayan, sige, may questions ba? Ayan, para may lumilitaw.
So case studies daw.
We have a session specifically for case studies. Pwede tayong gumawa. Actually, nag-cover ako dun sa second session ng isang case study. Pwede tayong maggawa ng more sessions and pwede natin i-discuss yung case study in depth. Pwede tayong pwede rin kayong it's your turn. Uy, ito yung na-imagine kong case study. Right or wrong or whatever, we can evaluate it. Pwedeng team effort. Uy, what do you think of my architecture? Pwede rin yung i-post sa Discord so we can evaluate. Uy, maganda, ito yung magandang parts, ito yung parang pwedeng for improvement, ganyan. Kasi pwedeng yun naman siya sa architecture pwedeng maraming sagot. Maraming sagot sa isang tanong. Pero of course, gusto natin i-align dun sa parang recommended practices. Yeah. So yun, nice point on kay Sir Mil. Pwede tayo mag-set up ng more sessions after the official sessions finish. Yan.
Parang hindi ba nadaanan din natin? Ewan ko, feeling ko yung tinitin ko yung mga slides mo, Brian, meron din about yung case studies Yes, syempre.
Actually,
pwede namang ng separate session.
Nung sa isang slide, yung sa session 2 yata yun, actually, mas hinide ko yung other case studies, pero dinagdagan ko ng parang mas nag-deep dive ako sa isang case study. Yung Teram Earth yata yung and then yung game pala.
Yeah. Sa exam pala, ayun, bago kayo mag-exam ng PCA, yun nga, di ba, nasa website din yun Teka, i-reset ko lang kasi hindi ko mabasa lahat. Naka-post din dito sa yung mga nakikita niya ba? Yung mga case studies. Tapos pwede rin kasi nilang palitan ito ng ibang case studies.
Correct.
So makakatulong na parang inaaral nyo na sila bago ka magpunta doon. Kasi syempre, pagdating sa exam, andun din yung case study. Parang may tab doon na makikita nyo yung case study. Pero syempre, mas mabilis ka kung tipong alam mo na bago ka pa mag-umpisa. So, actually, definitely nakaalis ng kaba na familiar ka na dun sa context ng question bago mo
parang
parang
siyang take-home exam Parang take-home assignment. Pwede mo nga siyang hindi nabasahin kung super familiar ka dun sa Ayan, si Aaron may gustong idagdag.
Ayun. So, sir, yung ginawa ko kasi dyan sa case studies, print out ko siya. Tapos, tinry ko siyang gawa na ng solution kagad. So, I'm not sure if that's a good, pero sa akin kasi nakatulong siya. Katulad ng sinabi ni Sir Maki na kasi pag lumabas sa exam yan, kalahati ng screen mo yung case study So, kalahati lang siya, medyo ang haba ng scroll mo, gano'n. So, magandang practice na before ka mag-exam, naaral mo na siya.
Definitely.
So, saka makakatulong din yung solution center. Kasi yung mga case studies is nandun sa mga industries So, at least pwede mo siyang i-check dun sa solution center ni Google.
Sige, hanapin, i-post natin yung solution center dun sa chat. Ayan. Eddie, any other questions or comments? Ayan, sige, balik ako kay Maki since wala.
Ito mga sample questions sa slide na mabilis lang naman. Anyway, yung mga, paalala ko lang din, kasi ito yung suggestion ko na kinikip track natin kung sino yung magbibigay ng tamang sagot sa chat para additional raffle entries yun. So kung ano man ipaparaffle ni Brian at the end of this. So,
ang ang
motivation
iniisip ko
na
ano eh.
sumagot.
Yeah, pero ang iniisip ko mag-set up ako ng session for for yung palaro rin ulit. But this yung tawag doon, yung may parang yung nakakatuwa, yung parang may game tapos may question and answer yung paunahan tapos may
Parang Kahoot. Yeah.
Kahoot. Yes, Kahoot. Yan, magpapa-Kahoot tayo. Baka nga pag reviewin ko, baka join tayo sa sixth session or baka may special session for Kahoot. Trabahuhin ko muna yung mga questions. Ayan. Tapos kung sino yung mga top finishers sa Kahoot, then ayan. Request na ako ng pondo, may parating na yung pondo. Pero in 2 weeks pa raw. So iba-budget natin kung ano yung mga swags na pwede natin gawin.
Nice.
Gusto ko magawa ng swags for participants, and then of course swags for those who will be certified, of course.
Wala silang voucher.
For now parang wala eh. So baka swags na lang for Pero hindi lahat eh. Parang rin raffle din eh. Super limited yung budget eh. So tingnan natin.
Ay, sana excited kayo. Kahit na mainit, nainitan na ako.
Ayan.
Okay.
Alright.
Sample questions. Hopefully with some relevance. So wala pala kayong merit. Lol. Sige, I'll go read through the questions and then you post your answers. So here we go. So your company wants to deploy several microservices to help their system handle elastic loads. Each microservice uses a different version of software libraries. You want to enable their developers to keep their development environment in sync with the various production services. So which technology should you choose? A, it's RPM or DEB. If you know what it is, then you know. B, containers. C, Chef or Puppet. D, virtual machines. Log in your answers. Again, your company wants to deploy several microservices to help their system handle elastic loads. Each microservice uses a different version of software libraries. You want to enable their developers to keep their development environment in sync with the various production services. Which technology should you choose?
Ayan.
At alam na alam natin ang sagot. Gusto may ma-explain ko bakit ang sinasabi ko din before, lalo na kung nag-eliminate ka, parang bukod sa na-convince mo yung sarili mo kung aling choice yung tama, dapat kaya mo rin explain sa sarili mo kung bakit mali yung iba eh. So, everybody get the right answer. Masasabi ko lang na dahil mo ang mahirap kumuha ng volunteer, A, RPM or DEB, these are package managers in Linux, whether it's Debian or some other flavor. Hindi ko bisado. Ano ba yung sa RPM? Anong flavor yan? But definitely B is it's what you use to package and to isolate yung workloads into lightweight containers na may complete isolation on software dependencies. Chef/Puppet are orchestration for infrastructure servicing, parang sa tawag dito, that you can use to deploy and manage your infrastructure. So it has nothing to do with services, but you can build parang deployment services yung Chef and Puppet. And obviously virtual machines, you know what virtual machine is, yung concept of a virtualized machine on Google Cloud, yung compute engine. And has nothing to do with well, you can run microservices off of it, pero hindi siya yung ideal solution compared to containers na mas lightweight and compact and portable. Virtual machines are machines na you don't move it around. It's tied to network interface and essentially hindi siya well, you can package an application as a VM image, yes, but it's not the simplest way to go. Yun yung take ko doon. Ano ba, wala ba, may explanation ba to?
Wala.
Wala siyang explanation kung ano yung sagot. Hindi meron pala. Yung iba.
Yung giveaway for me is ito. You want to enable their developers to keep their development environment in sync with various production. Kasi pag naka-container ka, 'di ba, parang maiiwasan mo yung, it works on my machine, doesn't work in production, 'di ba? Parang yun yung mga memes, 'di ba, na
No, we're not gonna ship your computer.
Okay. Yeah.
It works on your machine, fine. Let's ship your machine. Yeah, hindi.
So, naiwasan natin yon using containers. Yan.
Okay, good. So this is yung developer related na question. Ayan, container. So moving along. Next question. So you've re-architected a monolithic web application so state is not stored in memory on the web servers, but in a database instead. This has caused slow performance when retrieving user sessions though. What might be the best way to fix this? A, move session state back into the web servers and use sticky sessions in the load balancer. B, use a caching service like Redis or memory store. C, increase the number of CPUs in the database server. Or D, make all web servers in the same zone as the database. So you've re-architected a monolithic web application so state is not stored in memory on the web servers, but in a database instead. This has caused slow performance when retrieving user sessions. What might be the best way to fix this? A, move session state back onto the web servers and use sticky sessions in the load balancer. B, use a caching service like Redis or memory store. C, increase the number of CPUs in the database server. And D, make sure all web servers are in the same zone as the database. At mukhang tama naman lahat. B.
Parang
Dapat kayo na mag-explain.
Sige, hingi tayo ng volunteer. Game.
Bakit B?
Parang feeling battle of the brains, no? Yung parang yung dating game show ng mga estudyante tapos
Inabot nyo pa ba yun? Baka hindi na inabot yan mga
ayaw nga pala.
Gen Xers and elder millennials na nakakaalala ng battle.
Mga battle of the brain. So, correct lahat. B na naman ang sagot.
Nako, Brian, may naalala ko na mga ino-orient na junior devs na gumawa ko ng Matrix reference tapos hindi na ako naintindihan. So parang tanda ko na.
Dumadating na yung age, yung generation gap. Ayan.
Sige na, volunteer na. Ako mag-volunteer.
Any explanation? Ayan, si Nelmin. Game. Ayan. Nelmin, unmute at saka
sila sa in-memory database.
Ayan. Okay.
So bakit in memory?
Ano yung parang show, parang nag-connect sa'yo dun sa question na, in-memory database.
Ang kailangan.
Yung application
anong keyword
state,
mo?
Hindi na daw sa web server but sa database. So in-memory DB.
0.5 points. Hindi nisip ko ano yung keyword kung bakit dapat naka-Redis. Kasi it is memory. It is a state. Pero yun nga, definitely, si Redis and yung memory store, yung quick retrieval, yung caching. Kasi I think yung addressing slow performance, yun yung problem talaga eh. Cause slow performance in the user sessions though. So kailangan mong pabilisin yung user sessions. And one of the ways to speed things up is to use a memory store. Yes. So parang kung meron kang bottleneck sa storage I/O mo, kahit na taasan mo yung CPU mo sa letter C, walang mangyayari sa'yo. And I think yung pag ginawa mo yung move yung session state for letter A back to the web servers and use sticky sessions in the load balancer, ano ba yung magiging implication nito? Ano ba yung motivation mo para basagin yung monolithic into a distributed architecture? Kasi parang babalik ka dun na kunyari, pag yung usefulness din, pag hiniwalay mo yung state servicing, parang bahala ka na kung anong available na compute resource yung mag-serve ng request. Pero kung nakatayo sa compute resource, for example, yung state, tapos nag-crash yung machine na yun, nasira na rin yung session bigla. So isolating yung state mechanism to a separate register memory store actually saves you from yung problem na yung potentially caused by compute being unavailable.
Tapos yung addition is yung wala ng I/O sa sa pagsulat sa database. Read and write sa database usually yung traditional databases. Yung
Well, read siguro. Mas read pa.
All right. Sige, so it's 2:20.
Thank you, Nelmin.
Yeah, thank you, Nelmin, for answering. Correct. That's correct.
Hindi ko pala siya na move forward. So yan, naka-highlight na binga. Ito last na. So you're building a RESTful microservice, which would be a valid data format for returning data to the client. JSON, XML, HTML, all of the above. So you're building a RESTful microservice, which would be a valid data format for returning data to the client. JSON, XML, HTML, all of the above.
Merong A, merong ano pa? Sino pa yung mga sumasagot? O, pasok. Is A. Ano pa?
I mean, gets ko yung A.
D. May sumagot ng D. Karaniwan kasi A di ba? Kasi pag Pero baka hindi na, funny nga nagbago na yung mundo. Dati kasi, XML yung uso. XML yung standard.
Pag luma.
Yung mga luma. Ayan. Meron pa nga Yan. Anyway. May
show answer na ba?
Sige, show answer.
Ayan.
Yes, correct.
Naalala ko lang yung sinabi mo na XML ang luma kasi di ba ngayon sa trabaho ko about yung scientific computing. Yung mga endpoints and machines, puro XML silang lahat, walang JSON. So,
correct. Ang parang well, by history, alam ko na na parang JSON or XML kailangan. Pero of course, meron systems din na nagbabalik ng HTML snippets, yung mga lumang rin na yung mga nung nauso pa yung mga Ajax. Ayan.
Tama. May mga front-end interfaces na nag-return ng web components kaya HTML sila.
Or gusto mo server-side rendered yung mo, yung application, parang balik sa server side. Dati di ba? Gusto mo FIC client tapos fin client. So gusto mo data na lang darating. Pero ngayon parang bumabalik ulit tayo sa server side rendering. Balik PHP style na gagawin ko yung HTML. Sige, balik ko sa client. HTML na.
Well, siguro niyan. Depende din kung gusto mo siya na ma-SEO or what. So, nagigets ko na mukhang, yun nga, sobrang benta na JSON and that is kind of yung immediate thing. And I'm not really sure kung tawag dito yung merong mechanism sa REST endpoint na pwede mong i-negotiate kung ano yung content type na return And I think dun sa standard na Open API, andun siya na pwede mong i-request. Kung si client, pwede niyang i-specify kung anong type of response yung expect niya, whether it's JSON or XML. And fundamentally, HTML is by extension also XML. So, ultimately, nagigets ko yung mataon sa magot ng A, pero ako talagang feeling kang pinakatamang sagot talaga ito D, all of the above.
Correct.
And I think parang magkakaroon ng pitchfork, lulusubin ako ng mga A people dito. Parang hindi, mali ka, Maki.
Pero, tsaka, ito rin pala, tignan mo, wala siyang GCP-related question. Diba? Kita mo, siya. Hindi siya, doesn't matter about Google products. It's a general concept. Alright, siguro time check lang. It's 2:27.
Oh shit, sorry.
So,
skip na ba ng Q&A?
siguro last, lang, kung may question ba?
Meron ako kasing summary na ganito First, sige. Ko na lang muna ito na mabilis.
Yeah.
Na actually summarize things. So basically, Yung reminder lang na yes, this doable, pero hindi naman siya madali in the sense na parang everybody can just go in and get certified. So you really have to put in the work. And as you know, na parang going through the material, lalo na kung coming from a background na hindi related, marami kang kailangan talagang i-absorb. Yun, go for the exam guide. Ito yung crucial din. Pwede kasi maging out of date yung material na binabasa mo or kanya may na-download ka na guide somewhere. May YouTuber or may some website na nagsulat ng article. At least ano lang, para lang din i-tune, i-target mo yung effort mo dun sa mga relevant items. So pag nakita mo yung item hindi relevant, huwag mo na masyadong pansinin yan. Yung Cloud Skills Boost, meron siyang practice exams dun sa learning path ni Cloud Architect. Talagang the more you practice, lalo kang masasanay, lalo kang magiging confident eh. Kasi malapit siya, at least yung in terms of yung format, makafamiliar ka talaga. Yung sinabi ko about yung Occam's razor. Ano ba yung Occam's razor in terms of philosophy? Yung just go with yung path of least resistance, yung simplest solution. Kunyari, sinabi ko dun sa parang saan ko ba di-deploy yung containerized application ko? Kung wala namang other requirements or limitations, dun ka sa pinakamadali or simpleng solution. Yun yung safest bet mo. Same with yung yung sa security questions last week, kung natatandaan niyo, di ba? Na parang mag-grant ka ng permission sa tao. Ibigay mo lang yung least, yung required to do the job. Kunyari, kailangan lang niyang mag-view ng, sabihin natin ng file sa Google Cloud Storage. Huwag mo siyang bibigyan ng editor or owner admin role. Bigyan mo lang siya ng viewer role kasi yun lang naman yung kailangan eh. So, isakto mo lang. Kung hindi hinihingi, kung hindi kailangan, huwag mong dagdagan. Yun yung parang general principle pag nag-eliminate ka ng options. And I guess in generally, when you're designing them, so yung second to the last point, it's probably not as tough as you might think it is. And I think this is a recurring thing for me, na tuwing meron akong kukuning bagong exam na hindi ko pa nakuha before, kagaya ng exam ko kahapon, nagulat kasi ko sa sample test eh. Yung sample test ng machine learning engineer, parang mas mahirap siya kaysa sa actual test. So, basta yung mag-gets nyo yung readiness nyo, kagaya ng exercise kanina na parang dadaanan yung exam guide, tapos parang hindi nyo kailangan ma-explain sa utak nyo lahat Basta most of them, parang may idea ko. May idea ko itong bullet point, ito kung paano siya gawin sa Google Cloud. Pwede na yan. And then I think that's already a healthy sort of sign na you're ready to take it. And lastly, yung make the most of your exam time. You're given 2 hours. Hindi ko sure kasi kung ganun ka-standard. Kasi sa lahat ng exam na natatandaan ko, parang 50 items for 2 hours. Huwag kang kukunin yung beta kasi yung beta pamatayin parang 120 items 4 hours. Although pag pinasa mo siya, dami mong libreng swag. Si Sir Mel yata nagbe-beta to kasi hardcore to Ako hindi yung nagbe-beta exam. Yung exam ko kahapon sa machine learning engineer, parang 60 items siya, tapos ang haba ng question. So yun yung first time na naubusan ako ng oras. Pero basta ang ginagawa ko, 2 hours, kaya kong daanan one pass yung 50 items in the first hour, tapos the next hour mag-review na ako. Make the most. Lalo na kung basta may time ka pa capitalize on that. Baka may ma-realize ka, may maklik ka pa later na hindi mo na tandaan o naalala nung kinukuha mo yung test. So, syempre, eto habang nag-aaral tayo, medyo focus tayo sa role, medyo focus tayo sa pag-intindi kung paano ba yung parang idea ni Google Cloud to fulfill a cloud architect role, tapos yung mga necessary knowledge. Pero pagdating sa exam test, you game it. Get the most correct answer. So yun lang yung reminders ko. Q&A na mabilis before we wrap up.
May mga nahihiya pa mag Q&A.
Pwede rin nahanapin sa sa Discord na lang or mag-comment sa Facebook group. Kung may maalala kayo later. Okay. Ako ay
mukhang wala ng questions. So again, kapag may naisip kayong questions later on, feel free to post on Discord. And with that, let's conclude this session number 5. This is second to the last session. And thank you so much. And congratulations, Maki, on passing your 9th certification.
Thank you.
So, before yung final natin to wrap up is screen camera on. Let's have some group picture and then let's call it an afternoon. So, sige. I'll stop the recording.